You okay sitting next to Janet? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted you to be able to see the screen and everything. All right, I think we got one.
I didn't know you were coming.
Are we ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. I'm going to paint this service in a broad brush. So there may be some things and parts of it that are familiar to you. There may be lots of things that are not. I'm going to do as little reading as I can get away with. And that's probably to all our advantage. I'm very mindful, partly because I'm as new here as I am, of the dynamics of this place. And I've been spending the last 2 months since Christmas kind of observing and looking at you all and watching and wondering if you're feeling the same kinds of things I'm feeling, you know, about being here and about what lies ahead and what have you. It puts me in touch with the fact that, in essence, we're all the same. And we're all basically in the same place. We're also asking the same kinds of questions. And I think it's kind of universal. The fact that Dan has died is indicative of that and symbolic of our common end, which is something that we all need to pay attention to and own up to. So just a few words of introduction. They are scriptural, and do I need to cite them for you, or does it not matter?
He was a pretty casual guy.
All right, then that gives me some direction, doesn't it? God is our hope and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth be moved, and though the hills be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof rage and swell, and though the mountains shake at the tempest of the same. God is in the midst of her, even so. Therefore she shall not be removed. God will help her in that right early. So be still then, in the midst of all of this. Be still then, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, and I will be exalted in the earth. The God of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
Okay.
Very much. Basically, we're here to remember Dan, and the abundance of memories belong to you, not to me, obviously, as I've said. So I'm going to invite you to just speak your minds about who Dan was and what you'd like us to remember about him. I don't know whether this will be helpful.
Val, would you like to say something first?
I'll try.
All right, would you want Harry to go first, and you can collect yourself, okay?
I'm going to hold my hand.
I guess I.
Sit down.
Yeah, you're the most technical person here handing this off.
Hello.
You know what? I'm gonna take this, turn that one off, and we're just gonna hand this one around.
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful introduction to this machine. I guess I knew Dan as well as anybody. I came here 2.5 years ago, and within a week I realized that there was one person in the place that everybody had met and knew and was interested in, and it turned out to be Dan. So I made it my business to get to know him as well as I could. And over the last 2.5 years, we were often together. I think we were as close as I was to anybody in this building. The relationship between us was one of contrasts because, well, to put it in the way we used to put it, I considered him a West Virginia hillbilly. and he considered me a New York City wise guy. And I think both of these are essentially accurate at the core, but we had gone out into the wider world and we had done things differently than perhaps our background suggested. And he had become a military man and I had become a professor of English. But as often happens, we had a nice rapport. And I can think of many things about him, but I don't want to take up too much time. One of the things, of course, he was very good at was telling stories. As a matter of fact, he told the same story so many times that I could almost go along with him as he told it. And I remembered one or two of them, and I tried out telling them, but I'm afraid that was to myself. And that was a disaster, because there was nothing that was more important to those stories than the accent in which they were told. And I'm not going to try to put a New York accent on a West Virginia story. Anyway, I think I probably represent a lot of people here who knew Dan as well as he knew anybody in this building. He was always eager to help. He was always eager to suggest ways that things could be better. He was very friendly. He was a people person. And I'm very glad to have known him. I'm very sorry that he's gone.
Thank you, Harry. As I pass this to the next person, I just want to say that the very first two people I met in this building were Val and Dan. They were upstairs having lunch. I left knowing Val's name. It took me 3 weeks before I knew that Dan was really Dan Boone, because he gave me such a story about it. I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not. Anybody else want to speak?
I'm ready,
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I think if I were to ask for a hand out of everybody who was first approached by Dan and greeted when they came here, most of you would be raising your hand, I would imagine. I was the lucky one.
You were chosen.
The chosen one.
Well, when I moved in Thanksgiving of 2017. Dan had moved in July 31st, 2017. Checked it with Catherine just to be sure.
We had to be sure, yeah.
Yeah. Right. At any rate, I remember when my daughter was with me and we were unpacking my stuff, and who came to the door but Dan to greet me, just like he did to many of you. And it was just really nice. And within a couple of days, he asked me out to dinner. Little did I know what going out to dinner meant here. But truthfully, it was pretty good then. At any rate, that was really just the beginning, because then we just...
Because then he got used to you and had dinner in the art room.
Oh,
That was
God,
classy.
yes, when we were in quarantine, this was all Dan's idea, of course. He would suggest, let's go down to the art room, and we would bring. He fixed boxes for us that were big enough to fit our dinners in and everything, so we could go down there. And then he made a candelabra out of oak tag paper.
Yeah.
So we sat there with our candelabra, and every once in a while Mal would come by, going somewhere.
She's over there.
Where are you?
She's over there.
Oh, okay. She would come by, and we'd give her a little wave as she pranced on to wherever she was going. Couldn't go very far, that's for sure. But yeah, we enjoyed it, and I had a wonderful time with him. I always told him that he's the reason I was able to adjust very easily coming here, because it was a big change for me coming up from Florida. My daughter's here, thank goodness, but Dan is the real one who just made it for me. And we just continued for the next, 3-4 years approximately. We ate every meal together. Just enjoyed everything. So that was good.
Thank you, Val. Anybody else?
May I say something?
Yeah.
Or if Sid wants to go first, Sid.
Okay.
Of course, Val knows what I'm gonna say. When Dan first came, he sat on this side of the dining room, and I was on the hospitality committee, and I'd go over and say, Dan, don't you want to join us? And he'd say, no, no. As soon as Val arrived, he was done. He was casing everybody out.
Want to say anything?
Oh, gosh.
Bowling?
Oh, he was my neighbor and a wonderful guy. And to tell you the truth, I think the honor we can give him is to wear our masks
That's right.
all the time.
Absolutely.
Good point, Janet.
Yeah.
I just want to say, well, Dan was a gentleman, that's the only thing I can say. And he was always very welcoming and kind, and I'm glad to have known him.
I came, I don't know if I'm using it.
Yep.
I came shortly before Dan, about a month or two. And from the moment I sat down with him and just had a private conversation, I felt so at ease. He made everyone feel very welcome. And I think he was a great asset to our organization.
Actor, did you say?
Asset.
I won't spend too much time talking either, but just like Harry said, Dan's jokes and stories, no one can do them justice unless Dan himself said it. But there was one joke him and I were working on that we wanted to use for crossword, and I feel like now is an appropriate time to share that joke with everyone. So as most of you know, Dan never really missed crossword either. He'd come I think we do it Wednesdays and Saturday now. And it's always a lot of fun, and I started creating the crosswords for us so we could put them on screen. And he requested a specific crossword clue for the certain answer. So the clue was going to be a device in which oil or gasoline is transported, or a Hawaiian delicacy. Okay, so it's a confusing clue, and there's no way you know the answer unless you're Dan or myself. So the answer would have been pipeline, a way of transporting oil. However, he wanted to guess the word as, since it's a Hawaiian delicacy, as pipilini. So we wanted to set up a fake clue so no one could get it, so when it came over he could go, Jess, I think the answer is pipilini. And so then I would type it in and it would be pipeline. So I thought, since we didn't get to bring that joke to fruition, that I would share it with you all now. There you go.
If there's nobody else who'd like to speak, I'm going to put on this very short video clip. This was Dan at WCAX came in for Veterans Day, and Dan offered to speak for us and be taped. And on that day, I was waiting for him to come down. He was never late for anything. He was always on time. And in fact, when I was late for anything, I heard about it. So I was quite surprised that he wasn't, down when he said he would be. So I was going to go upstairs to get him, and the door opened. And he came out, and he had all of his medals on. And he looked all beautiful. He had his shirt on. He just looked very spiffed up. And he said, I hope this isn't too much, meaning all the medals on his chest. And I said, no, Dan, I think it's perfect. And he got teary-eyed, and he said, this is going to be my last Veterans Day. And I don't get teary-eyed very easy, but he made me cry that day, and he's making me cry today.
I witnessed it.
And we're going to miss him terribly. So, Jess, what do I do to make him start talking to us here?
Swipe.
Oh, swipe?
Yeah, you were already in it, so. So go back, and I believe it's to the left.
Yeah, to the left means
One more.
nothing to me.
Other way.
You can do it.
So
You
the
can.
first one,
Okay.
the first one.
And it's ready to go?
Yeah, just hit play.
Is there a sound?
There should be.
We'll start over.
Yeah, I was like, how did this all work earlier? Now it doesn't work.
Because I touched it?
Probably.
think they're very important to recognize the veterans. I don't feel like I did a lot, and I don't normally get all dressed up. I was in Southeast Asia, so I do have a couple air medals up here. I think we got one for every 30 missions we flew, so I got air medal, and it's called the cluster.
There's been so many things that have been put on hold or postponed. The fact that they went out of their way to do something today, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. We got about 20 or 22 veterans in the building, all the services. I know we had a submariner served in the Pacific in the Second War, and he would tell us some very interesting stories about submarines in those days and compare them to the nuclear submarines of today. A B-17 pilot here flew missions out of England in the Second War. He's unfortunately passed away. Great guy. And I think it's nice to recognize the veterans anytime. I didn't do much, but there are a lot of people that still are. Look at what's going on in Afghanistan. But anytime I hear the Guard flying, I get sort of homesick, as I say. There's been a lot of controversy over their flying. But I just tell people it's the sound of freedom.
That was Dan. So what?
I didn't know if you wanted the music.
Yeah, we thought that we would sing Country Road because it was his favorite, and can we have the lyrics showing while we sing it?
I think
Can I
there's
start us off? Yeah.
Do you want to find the
lyrics?
YouTube
Yeah, I
lyric?
can find it.
And then you can start us off.
Country Road.
And if you need them, Jesus.
And when we're-
It's the last knob right there that says music.
When we're done here, I hope you all help yourself to some treats.
I said that's definitely one of the first ones for us. Don't mind that ad.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong.
I know I don't know you. Would you like a hand? I'm trying to be good with COVID, but I'm almost at it. You want a tissue? Sure.
Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.